Welcome friends to the session. In this session, we are going to discuss about the loop structures in C programming language. Loop structures are the programming structures that are frequently used by the programmer. Loop structure is being used whenever we want to repeatedly execute certain code of the program. In this session, we will understand what is the necessity of the loop structure and what are the different loop structures that are being provided in C programming language. We will also understand how these loop structures are used and what is the syntax and semantics associated with each loop structure in C programming language. As you know that you are viewing this session on my YouTube channel, Learn with Prakash Khanal. Loop structures are very commonly used by us in our daily lives. You will find that many natural phenomena are repeatedly executed. You will find that there are many things that we do almost every day. Similarly, you will find that in programming also, we need the loop structures. Normally, you will find that the statements in any C program are executed one after the other. That is, they are executed sequentially. No statement is executed again. But this is not the case when certain programming situations may arise where you need certain code to be executed again and again. Say, for example, if you want to compute factorial of a number, then you know that factorial of a number can be computed by taking the multiplication repeatedly. Similarly, if you have been asked to sum certain numbers, then again you will find that the summation has to be performed repeatedly. Similarly, you will find that when you want to generate a Fibonacci series, then the new number in the Fibonacci series is the addition of the earlier two numbers. And therefore, there also you will find that certain part of the code has to be executed repeatedly. So almost in every programming or many times in programming, you will find that a certain part of the code we need to execute repeatedly. And therefore, every programming language must provide certain facility to the programmer so that that code can be executed again and again. In C programming language, you will find that certain part of the code can be executed again and again by using the loop structures in the C. So there are three popular loop structures that are available in C programming language. The first one is being called as a for loop. The second one is being called as a while loop. And the third one is being called as a do while loop. So in this session, we will understand what exactly we mean by the for loop, while loop, and do while loop. We will understand how to write them, that is, what is the syntax, and what is the meaning associated with all of these loops. Also, we will discuss some examples regarding how to make use of these loops in programming. So let us now go for the first loop, and that is the for loop. Now, whenever we understand any programming structure, then we need to understand two things, that is the syntax associated and the semantics associated. So let us first of all understand what is the syntax of the for loop. If you want to write a for loop within a program, then you need to write it like this. The first word is the for is a keyword. Then in the bracket, you need to write three expressions, and you will find that each expression is separated by a semicolon. The first expression in the bracket we use is the initialization expression. The second expression that we use is the test expression. And the third expression that we use in the for loop is the update expression, or many times we call it as an increment or decrement expression. And then you will find that there will be curly brackets, and in the curly brackets you can write down number of statements, and these number of statements will form the body of the loop. Now let us understand what is the semantics of this for loop. You will find that in this for loop, first of all, this initialization expression is being executed. That is, whatever you write as an initialization expression, this expression will be executed first. Normally, we set some control variable, or we initialize the value to the control variable by using this initialization variable. Now, after that, this test expression will be evaluated. This test expression will be a Boolean expression, and it may have either a true value or a false value. So any non-zero value is being considered as a true value, and a zero value of the expression is considered as a false value. If this test expression returns a true value, then the body of the loop is executed. That is, whatever the statements are written over here, these statements will be executed once. After that, this update expression will be executed. That is, whatever you write in this update expression will be executed. That is, normally we make some increment or we make some decrement in the control variable, which is being initialized by the initialization expression. So the value of this control variable can be changed by using the update expression. Then the control of execution again transfer to the test expression. That is, again, this test expression will be evaluated. You will find that this test expression must return either a true or false value. If it returns again a true value, then again this for body loop is executed. So you will find that since this test expression is returning a true value, this for body loop is executed again and again. And every time when this for body loop is executed, then after that we will execute this update expression so that the control variable value will get updated. Now, somewhere within this loop, there must be a provision that at some point of time, this test expression must return a false value. If this test expression never returns a false value, then you will find that an infinite loop will be formed. And because of infinite loop, you will find that this test expression will never become false, and you will not get any output at the program. So every programmer must take care that at certain point, this test expression must return a false value. Now, whenever this test expression returns a false value, then the control of execution will be transferred to the next statement within the program. Now, let us consider an example of the for loop. You will find that this is a for loop. This is a short code where I have written a for loop. In this for loop, you will find that the first variable is the initialization expression, initialization variable, or many times we call it as a control variable. The value, initial value of this control variable count is 1. The second expression is a test expression, and this test expression tells us that count is less than or equal to number. That is, as long as the count value is less than or equal to number, you will find that this body of the loop will be executed again and again. And this is an update expression. And in this update expression, you will find that we are increasing the count by 1. Now, suppose our number variable NUM is having a value 15. Now, in that case, since the count is equal to 1 and count 1 is always less than the number 15, therefore this body of the loop will be executed. That is, the sum is equal to sum plus count. If the initial value of the sum is equal to 0, then 0 plus 1, that is, the addition will be made. Now again, you will find that this count value will be incremented and it will become 2 now. Now this test expression is again tested. Now count has become a 2 and therefore it is still less than 15 and therefore the body of the loop is again executed. So you will find that this loop is repeatedly executed until this number is uh, greater than this count. Now as soon as this count becomes slightly greater than the number, that is when the value of the count becomes greater than 15, then this loop will be terminated. So you will find that by using this loop, we can make a addition or summation of the first 15 numbers. There is another loop that is being commonly used by the programmers, and this loop is being called as a while loop. So let us understand what is the syntax that is being associated with the while loop. Whenever you want to use a while loop within a program, then write the first keyword, that is while. In the bracket, write down the test expression, and then in the curly bracket, you can write the number of statements. And these number of statements will form the while loop body. Now let us see what is the semantics of this while loop. You will find that in the while loop, initially the test expression is evaluated. The test expression must return either a 0 or non-zero value. That is, whenever it returns a non-zero value, then the expression value is being treated as a true. And in that case, the while loop body is executed and the control of execution is again transferred to the test expression. Now you will find that as long as the value of the test expression is true, this loop body is repeatedly executed. But as I told you that within your body, you must make some provision so that this test expression will become false at certain time. Whenever this test expression becomes false, then the control of execution will be transferred to the next statement of the program. Now let us see one simple example of while loop. Suppose this is a while loop. While is a keyword. In the bracket, I write I less than or equal to 5. Now you will find that in the body of the loop, simply we are printing the value of I by using the printf statement. And in the body of the loop, I am also changing the value of I. So within the body of the loop, you have to write down the statement in such a way that at some point of time, this test expression should return a false value. Now this loop will be repeatedly executed as long as I is less than or equal to 5. As soon as I becomes greater than 5, you will find that the loop will be terminated and the control will be transferred to the next statement of the program. Now there is another loop that is being very commonly used and which is very similar to that of while loop with one change only, and this loop is being called as a do while loop. The syntax of the do while loop is like this. Initially we write the keyword do, then in the inverted brackets, then in the curly brackets, we write the body of the loop. So here the difference is that the body of the loop appears first. In the while loop, as we have seen, the test condition appears first, while here the test condition appears in the last. So after that, we will write this while keyword followed by the test expression. Now, let us understand the semantics of this loop. Here in this loop, first of all, the body of the loop is executed. That is, the test condition is not tested. So you will find that in the first attempt, the body of the loop will be executed, and after that, the test expression will be tested. If it returns a true value, then the control of execution will be transferred to the body of the loop again. So you will find that this loop will be repeatedly executed as long as the test expression is true. Whenever this value of the text expression becomes false, then the control of execution will be transferred to the next statement of the program. So what is the difference between while and do while? The difference is that in the while loop, if the text expression is false in the first attempt, then never the body of the loop will be executed. But in case of do while loop, you will observe that at least once this body of the loop will be executed, and then the expression is tested. So even if in first attempt the test expression returns a false value, at least once the body of the loop will be executed. Now let us understand a simple example of this do while loop in C. Now suppose I have written a keyword do, and then in the curly brackets we write the number of statements. Here we are printing the message enter a number, then we are reading this number, and then this number is being added into the sum such that sum is equal to sum plus number. And you will find that repeatedly we are performing the addition of the number, and this addition will be performed until the user enters a number 0.0. So when user enters a number 0.0, then only the loop will be terminated. Otherwise, all numbers will get added into the sum. Let us consider another simple C program where you will find that we will be making the use of the for loop. Now, as shown in this slide, you will find that initially we have included the standard input output header file within our program. Then we have a main function, and the type of the main function is integer. Suppose I require 3 variables in this function. The first variable is number, the second variable is count, and the third variable is sum. And the variable sum is being initialized to a value 0. Now what we are doing in this program is that we are performing a repetitive addition of the integer numbers. We are asking the user to enter any positive integer. Now the user enters the number, and this number is read by using the function scanf. Now here it is a loop set, and this loop is a for loop. Initially the value of the control variable count is 1. The condition or the test expression that we are using is count less than or equal to number, and the update expression is the increment the count, that is plus plus count. Now here what we are doing is that we are using sum is equal to sum plus count. So we have already initialized sum is equal to 0. Therefore 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3. Now this will go on, isn't it, until this condition is true. So you will find that this loop will terminate when the number is less than the count. Now finally, whatever is the sum, a value of the sum variable, the value of the sum variable is being displayed on the screen by using printf function. And finally, to the main function, we are returning a 0 value because the data type of the main function, the return type of the main function is integer. Now, whenever you want to execute any C program, you must have a proper compiler installed on your computer system. But if you do not have any compiler installed, then you can go online and you will find that there are several online compilers available. In the text editor window, you need to type this program, and then there is an execute button. And if you provide a standard input, then you will find that you will get the output something like this. Now, initially you have to enter a positive integer. Suppose the integer entered is 15. Then you will find that the sum of the first 15 number is 120. So hopefully, friends, you have been understood some basic loop structures that are being used in the C programming language. If you have any comments or if you want to ask any questions, then of course you can write to me and ask me any questions in relation with this topic. Thank you all for viewing this session.